Hello everyone, this is a video about nature of inquiry, Forum Post 7. First of all, I want to tell you where you can find Forum Post 7. It's in Residency Session July 20th folder. It's here. I also put a link in post residency materials, so you can also see the same folder here in post residency. But anyways, in order to prepare for Forum for Post 7, I would like you to first read two readings, I mean, at least one chapter. I listed here required and recommended readings for Forum Post 7. So, required reading is Justin Matheson Lacey. It's required reading titled Doing Your Literature Review Traditional and Systematic Techniques. And I think it is chapter 4, at least page 47 to 57. This chapter talks about how to read articles or book chapters of books when you are reading for literature review. So, chapter 3 is required reading, but I also highly recommend you read chapter 2 of the same book. The chapter title is Search for Information. So, if you're not so familiar with um, database search and literature review process in general, I highly recommend you to read chapter 2 and then read chapter 3. I created quiz 6 to help you check your understanding of required reading, chapter 3 of this book, Doing Your Literature Review. This is an optional quiz, so if you think that this quiz will help you check your understanding of this chapter, please take this quiz. And if you want to skip it, you can. Also, after reading required chapter, I want you to take a look at resources related to Forum Post 7. So there is a link to a website called What is Annotated Bibliography? I want you to learn what annotated bibliographies mean and then how people make annotated bibliographies, because that's what you have to do in order to complete your Forum Post 7. I posted some sample template that I created for students in this course to start creating annotated bibliography. This is an template for empirical study annotated bibliographies. So if you are reading an empirical study and I want to keep notes on the information you're getting from a particular article, you can use this template, right? I put a lot of items on this template. You may find it is too much. So you don't really have to use this template. I just wanted to give you some ideas on how some people keep notes. You can create your own annotated bibliography template that works for you. Some people use like Excel, other people use Zotero, or some people just use Word document. Whatever works for you is fine. I just want you to keep in mind that I will ask you to submit a sample of your annotated bibliography. So, you know, figure out how you want to keep your annotated bibliography and then keep a record of it. So here are some template for empirical study annotated bibliographies and another template for non-empirical study annotated bibliographies. For this assignment for Forum Post, I want you to mainly look at empirical studies, but you can also incorporate I guess two non-empirical studies. So if you are reading non-empirical studies, you may want to take a look at this template and then figure out how you read non-empirical studies differently compared to empirical study. Um, Again, you can create your own template for how to document notes on non-empirical studies. I also created a video showing how I use Zotero to archive references and also keep annotated bibliographies. This is just my example, but I found using Zotero highly helpful. It allows me to archive all kinds of information and retrieve information in so many different ways, and also to export information to Excel file. If you're curious, look at this video. And I'm sure Abby in Zotero Library should be able to help you learn how to use Zotero. So I recommend that you contact her and then have maybe set up an individual or small group Zotero session if you're interested in learning how to use Zotero. I think if you are curious, I highly recommend you to spend time to learn about these Zotero or any kind of reference software so that you can start documenting whatever you read related to your research right away. So here is the resources, and then after finishing all these, you can start your forum post 7. Here is the instruction. So it's quite simple. Before you actually start typing your response in this forum, there are things I ask you to do. One is to come up with keywords you will use in the search. You can recycle the same keywords from forum post 6, or you may want to refine them. And then this time I ask you to develop guiding questions for this literature review. I noticed some of you were using guiding questions already. You may be able to recycle those guiding questions, or you may need to revise guiding questions. It is usually, normally researchers keep revising their guiding questions as they continue their research. But there are some cases which is kind of exceptional where researchers just stick to their guiding questions and doing their literature review. So in this forum post, to prepare for this forum post, I want you to identify at least 6 peer review studies that will help you answer your research questions. So I think you know what we mean by peer reviews, but usually when you go to the database, you can find kind of like a line somewhere on the database after you pull out references, and you can refine your search by clicking peer review articles so that you can only see peer review articles. Ideally, I want you to find 6 empirical studies. Either that means like either qualitative, quantitative, mixed methods, evaluation studies, action research, those studies. And if you are confused about empirical studies and non-empirical studies, I ask you to go back to Module 1 in pre-residency assignments, and also some like a Jeopardy activity we did on our I think a first day in the afternoon, so that you know what I mean by empirical studies. But anyways, I want you to identify 6 peer review studies, and then if you can find 6 empirical studies, that's great. If you cannot find 6 empirical studies related to your interests, at least make sure that 4 of them are empirical studies. And then 2 others could be theoretical studies or literature review or a methodological paper. Okay. So Also, I ask you to limit your search to by time, and then try to pull out data that I mean articles that are published in past 10 years. Um, I want you to remember that in order to identify 6 studies for you to review for this assignment, you probably need to skim more than 6 articles, right? Um, okay, and the database you can use to search articles are, for example, these. And I recommend you to use multiple databases. And that's a very common thing for researchers to do in the literature review. Go to different databases and use same keywords and see what come out. So these are the databases that are accessible through library website. If I go to library website, you will see these tabs and you go to resources, databases. For example, I guess JSTOR, um, that's one of the databases. Um, so you can start, oh, actually putting key terms here. So that's an example. Um, you may be familiar with other databases that I did not list here. It's perfectly fine to use other databases, and I also encourage you to share information with your peers about new databases that you found very useful. Um, so this is about searching. And then step 2 is to creating annotated bibliography for each article you read, each of those 6 articles that you're going to use for this forum post. You don't have to take annotated bibliographies of every single article that you pulled out. You may pull out more, retrieve a lot of articles, but skim and then narrow down to 6 for this particular forum post. So here are the examples of template for annotated bibliographies that I showed you. You can use the template that I created to create your own annotated bibliographies, or you can use your own template. In addition, as I stated earlier, you can use Zotero to keep your annotated bibliographies. Step 3 is something actually you can do as you are doing things for step 2, taking annotated bibliographies. As you read new set of articles, I want you to think about major perspectives that each author has about the topic. You can maybe think about the perspectives that you identified by reading literature review papers for Forum Post 6. The new empirical studies that you're reading for this assignment may have perspectives that are overlapping with the perspectives that you identified earlier, or you may find new perspectives. So I want you to start modifying the perspectives, um, um, modifying the visual that you created earlier as you read more empirical studies. Also, this is, I want you to remember that I want you to keep a record of the process of literature review. For example, track keywords and database you used, number of articles you retrieved, and number of articles you decided to review and why. This is because you need to submit this kind of information as a part of your final paper. So in order to know what exactly you have to for your final paper, I recommend you to go to final paper guidelines and then see. Maybe I can show it right now. So you will go back to in order to see final paper guidelines, you need to go back to post-residency at the major page and then click post-residency and then click final paper guidelines. So now I'm back at forum post 7. So I talked about what you need to do before you write your forum post. Here is the last part of the instruction. Assuming that you are done with doing the preparation and then ready to write your forum post, this is the instruction you need to focus on. So first, you will talk about the purpose of your literature review in one or two sentence, and then you will list, you know, guiding questions you used to do this literature review. I know you may change some guiding questions during this literature review. So if you changed your questions multiple times, just use the major, like, last two major questions that you used to conduct this literature review. And also list keywords that you use and then for the database search, and then explain why you use them. Again, during your search, you may end up changing your keywords, but for this forum post, pick 3 to 5 keywords that I ended up using and I found to be very useful. Four, I want you to list 6 peer review articles you ended up reading in detail, and then for this forum post. As I said, 4 of them needs to be empirical studies and 2 do not need to be empirical studies. But if you just want to review 6 empirical studies, that's fine. Also, 1 non-empirical study and then 5 empirical studies would be fine. But I want you to list references in APA 7 style. Then I want you to post a visual image that shows categories that, or of articles that you found. Categories are means like perspectives that you found about the topic that you are exploring. If you found that perspectives that you found through this search is exactly the same as the perspectives you found in when you reviewed literature review papers for forum post 6, you can use the same visual. If you found some differences, I want you to submit the revised visual. And then I want you to describe the visual that you posted here. And then here is some instruction on what you need to say about the description. And then also write your response to the following questions. And this is about like a reflective reflection of the process of literature review. And based on the understanding of the major perspectives on your topic you learned from by reading empirical studies. Will you revise your guiding questions? Why not? State your new guiding questions. Or I also ask you to look back your forum post 5 and then think whether you need to actually revise your problem statement. Now you have new perspectives about the topic you're exploring. So that's what you need to post. And then this assignment will be just pass or fail. So you will get full points if you complete this assignment. And the point will be 8. I'm also planning to write my response to your forum post individually, and you should be able to find my comments in your gradebook. One last important announcement about this Forum 7 post assignment is that I want you to remember that you have to submit certain artifacts together with your final paper. So as you do this search, I want you to begin to archive, certain documents. For example, actually there are 4 things that you need to submit together with your final paper. And you can find more detailed information about these artifacts in final paper guideline page. But these are the 4. 1 is a table of articles you retrieved and reviewed. And B is a sample annotated bibliography. C, sample summary of article, and D, visual presentation of categories. You need to categories. And I put my own samples in the final paper guidelines page. So if you're curious, you can go to that page and then download the samples. Also, please remember that this is just the beginning of your literature review exercise. You identified six reviewed articles for this forum post, but you will continue your search and then, adjustment of visuals and description of it. And also you will keep writing your annotated bibliographies. For your final paper, you need to include 20 references and then also and 18 of them need to be empirical studies. So keep that in mind as you begin this forum post 7. So that's all. And I am planning to have office hours to answer your questions about this assignment. In the second week of August and no, actually starting first week of August, I will send you a link to my office hours. So watch this video, read the guidelines, and I highly recommend you to start doing this prep work for Forum Post 7 so that you will have more practical ideas on what I'm talking about, and then ask me questions. Okay, so good luck, and I'm looking forward to reading your Forum Post 7. Thank you.